Hey guys, Tyler Jackson here, the owner and operator and host of the Play Sheet Sports Podcast. On this week's episode, I am joined by Eli Allen, former James Monroe State Player of the Year, and Skylar Davidson, an All-State player and state champion at Wyoming East. They talk about their experiences as state champions and national champions, and we talk about an array of topics leading up to that, their preparation, and exactly how they found themselves in those positions. I want to thank our sponsors of this week's episode, Princeton Healthcare Center, First Community Bank, and Raynell Medical Center for making this all possible. And please, as always, if you like this week's episode, make sure to like and subscribe for all the latest updates from our channel. But first, a word from our sponsors.
For the past 4 decades, Princeton Healthcare Center has provided a quality experience for countless families to give them a warm and safe senior living environment. We're much more than a nursing home, offering skilled nursing services in a long-term care community. If you're looking for a skilled nursing facility that is as compassionate as it is comprehensive, look no further. Contact us today to schedule a tour for you or your loved one. Princeton Healthcare Center, a commitment to caring.
I want to welcome you all to the Play Sheet Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Jackson, and I'm always joined by special guests, but I'm joined by two special guests today, a couple of winners, and Eli Allen and Skylar Davidson. Eli is a graduate of James Monroe High School and now at Nova Southeastern, reigning national champions in Division Two. And Skylar Davidson just finished up her career at Concord. She was a national champion at Glenville State. So both these kids kind of, I call you kids now, but you're adults. Like I think you're both 20 now. You know, when I first met both you guys, you were probably like 14 or 15, and you've grown up on me a little bit. But how are you guys doing this evening?
I'm doing good.
Me as well. Doing good. Still coming off of it a little bit, but hanging in there.
Yeah, so I do want to start with you, Eli. Your journey, both you guys had really unique journeys into how you got to this point. You weren't entirely sure how things would go for you out of high school. Skylar, I know you had the whole COVID situation where between your junior and senior year, it was kind of nipped. And for you, Eli, you were considering going the prep route. I want to start off with you, Eli, and then you, Skylar. How'd you end up at Nova Southeastern, and Skylar, how'd you end up at Glenville? Like, take me through those decisions and how you landed there, because it's proven to be very good for both you guys.
Mine was actually kind of a funny story. I was at Moravian. I was just down there for I think 2 weeks, just working out with them, kind of getting to know them a little bit better. And it was the end of my senior year. It was July something, the end of July, the live period. It was like the last tournament. And I was like, Dad, I don't want to go to this. I want to just finish my summer out. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to go home and see all my family and all my friends and stuff. And he somehow convinced me to go to this one last tournament where I played with Jay Allen Turner from Charleston and a few other guys like that, went on their team. And actually, the first game there, that's where the Sharks saw me. My coach, Coach Smith, he saw me play. I think I had 0 points, didn't score one basket. And that's the only game he watched me. And it was like the last tournament season. And I get a call a few weeks later, and he says, "Hey, man, love to watch you play. Love the way you play. I want you to come and be a Shark." So I acted like I would consider it and whatever. I knew once he called, I was going there, but waited a little bit, talked to my family and everybody, and then ended up committing there really, really late, but it all worked out.
What about you, Skylar?
So I think I committed at the beginning of my senior year. Mine was weird, like on the circuit level, because that was during COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went to a bunch of the camps of schools like that I was interested in, and Glenville was my second offer that I had. Went up to a camp up there, showed out a little bit, and Coach Kim had called me that night and told me that she thought I was the best player down there. She offered me, and after talking to her in person a little bit, I was like, yeah, like, this campus is awesome. This team wins. Like, she was always in the tournament. So I was like, yeah, I want to be on a program that I know is going to win. And I knew going into it that I was going to have to really fight for a spot. but I knew that there was a spot because they did the 5 in, 5 out. So I thought it was a really good fit for me, especially where I like to play fast. And I always fueled off of defense, so it worked out for me pretty well.
Now, both your guys' coaches have turned out to be special coaches. Eli, I read a story about yours where, the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat, they love consulting with him. And I think Joe Mazzulla had actually, after they won the NBA Finals last year, it talked about how, whenever he was at West Liberty, he learned so much from him just playing against them because of how they valued possessions. And for you, Skylar, obviously, Coach Kim, she's at one of the most historic women's basketball programs in the country, and she just got an extension, I think, yesterday or the day before. Just starting with you, Skylar, what is it that you feel like kind of makes those coaches special? Because it's not just one thing, people talk about replicating systems, and I know that you've gotten questions about people wanting to replicate Kim's system. But sometimes it's not just the system, it's the coach and being able to mesh the personnel. So, can you guys kind of both take me through what you kind of feel like makes those coaches so special and what kind of drew you guys to them?
Oh, for Coach Kim, she's one of those coaches that she's obsessed with winning, you know, and I think that's what makes her great. She's very intense. She sets a really high standard for everyone from the beginning. Um, and I feel like the thing that always set her teams apart from everybody else is we always played so hard. Like no matter what, we were the hardest workers on the floor, and she had she gets 10 great basketball players that work as hard as they can. So, the practices are super intense, and that's how she wanted it to be. So, games were easy, is what she would tell us. And yeah, she's just one of the greats. She's different. She's one of a kind.
What about for
Going off of what Skylar said, it was kind of the same. Coach Crutchfield recruits great guys, and so he's not as intense as some would say. He's actually pretty chill, laid back. He teaches us the principles of what we need to do, and he just gets great guys that come out there and know the end goal, and that's to win the championship and win every game possible. We went 33-1 this year. The one loss we had tore everybody up. It was like the end of the world. We lost one game, and I think that's just kind of the culture that he's put in place here at Nova. And I think the guys coming in here know that that's what we have to do to maintain it every year.
Now, both of you had very successful high school careers. You were both multi-time first staters. Skylar, you played in two state championship games, won one, had a heck of a tournament run. Eli, same for you. You ended up winning two, and I feel like your senior year, you shot like 67% in the state tournament. So you guys knew how to perform on the big stage. What was it that you were able to take from winning in high school that really helped you guys in these national championship runs? Because your roles changed. You weren't the main focal points on the national championship teams, but you were still contributors. Skylar, you played a lot on during that run, and Eli, same for you. And, that the national championship game you just played in was really a game that wasn't decided until a second left to go. They had a chance to win it there. But you guys were still able to come in and contribute. So, what do you kind of feel like were the similarities that helped you win in high school that you felt like translated to the college level?
I just think just trusting our abilities and just putting our head down and always playing hard. I mean, the championship game, I think there was a minute 41 left on the clock. We were down a few points or something. I looked up and I was like, we're going to win this basketball game. Like, just always knowing that no matter what, give the glory to God, whatever happens, but keep on going. And eventually, hopefully, it'll work out in our favor.
Playing on a big stage like a state tournament game helps always, And I came in as a freshman, and first first time first time down the floor, I'm pretty sure I had a turnover. I had to get that out of my system. But just having confidence after leading a state championship game, and I would say that as a freshman, I figured out how to step into a role to where I got playing time and where I made a mark on that team and where my role was, and I bought into it to be the best I could in that role. So, you know, being a state champion gives you some confidence too.
Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and take a break and hear from our first sponsor. And when we'll get back, we'll go ahead and talk about some of the things that help you become that 1 in 1 million player.
Raynell Medical Center is proud to offer RMC Lewisburg Pediatrics and Family Health Center, offering quality primary and pediatric care from head to toe. Adult and child well visits, acute visits, ADHD management, behavioral health therapy, parent-child interactive therapy, osteopathic manipulative treatment, lab services, DOT physicals, sports physicals, and more. Our office is open 5 days a week from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call for your appointment today.
Back here on the Play Sheet Sports Podcast, joined by Eli Allen of Nova Southeastern and Skylar Davidson, now of Concord University. And we talked about it a little bit, but you guys have, when you're kids, teachers tell you, it's that 1 in 1 million to go pro. But I feel like the odds are probably a little bit slimmer when you think about, the success that you guys have had. Not a lot of kids are able to win not only a state championship, but also a national championship. Obviously your plights are a little bit different, uh, but you kind of had to know you have to put in a similar level of work. It's not just athleticism or anything, but there's a lot that works for you, and just the way you guys have both won. Talk to me kind of about the journey of building up to a state champion and a national champion in your personal work, starting with you, Skylar.
Uh, well, basketball is what my whole life has always been revolved around. My older brother played. I used to play with the boys. So it's really all I've ever known. But I do feel like a lot of kids, like myself, um, sometimes you're just born a winner, like people say. You just have that type of mentality. You have natural skill set, but then when you add that with hard work and just dedication to the game, that plays a huge role. I played since I was in the third grade. I didn't really take it that serious till probably the end of my fourth grade year when I got to move up to play with fifth and sixth graders. So then I felt like real confident because I got to move up. Then just leading into that, I played on the AAU circuit, which was awesome. Just having that experience of basketball outside of West Virginia. And then in high school, I joined a team with two D1 basketball players. We ended up being ranked in the nation, and I started some games for them. Went through an injury, that was awful. Felt like my whole world ended because I couldn't play basketball for 6 months. But I learned a lot during that time, and I never took basketball for granted again. And I give God all the glory for that I came back from an injury and didn't have to deal with another one. But I do think that injuries like that do build a real basketball player. You have to go through the hard stuff to be great, and that's just really how I feel about it. And it was just uphill from there. So
What
I
about
agree. I think hard work kind of separates who you are as a person and a player. Once you get to the college level, everybody's tall, everybody can shoot, everybody's athletic. So just you got to put in as much work as possible and just have that mentality that you're going to go out every game and win. I mean, that's really the end of it once you get to this level.
kind of going back to high school for both you guys? At what point did you kind of feel like you had something special that could really end up winning state championships? Because obviously for you, Eli, James Monroe, and I used to joke with Matt Savage about this, but my first year I think was 2 or 3 years before you guys ended up making it to the state championship game. James Monroe lost both their sectional openers by 58 points to Shady Spring. And then for you, obviously, you were dealing with a younger group of kids. I think your junior year, you were the only starter returning, and things had changed so much. And with COVID, you never knew it was going to happen. So, at what point did it kind of feel like, oh, like we have something special? We have programs that we feel like can actually contend for state championships, starting with you, Eli.
So my freshman year, I think we ended up 8-15 or 17 or something around there. We were not good at all. We lost to Shady by 50, 60 points at our home field. There was a huge crowd there. We went out there, got destroyed. And then coming into the next year, me, Josh, and Colin, that was kind of three in my age group. We all kind of grew a little bit finally. I ended up being 6'2", And that was the year where we lost the heartbreaker in the regionals. We had a great season all year, and really after that, we realized that hey, we're actually pretty good because nobody expected that because we had just lost 17 games the year before, so nobody really expected us to be good. And then we came out there sophomore year and kind of played well, and then that heartbreaker of a loss really fueled everybody to get in the gym and compete. And so that's what kind of led up to the next 2 years.
What about for you, Skylar?
So I stepped into a really good basketball program from the beginning. Girls basketball at Wyoming East was really on the come up at that time. I think they had won a state championship a year or two before I was a freshman. So, I grew up watching them and ready to play with them. I played with them during the summer and did all the summer workouts and stuff. Um, but I would say that my state championship team was the team that wasn't supposed to win. And we took that very personal, but we were also during that time of COVID. So instead of not doing anything during this COVID time, we found ways to all get down to the basketball court and do stuff together without a coach or anybody making us do anything. So we made our own fun, and we got better. And we took that kind of personal that people thought we weren't going to be very good, and they didn't think we were going to win. And that team had a lot of fight, a lot of talent, and just great players and great people that came together. We were truly a family. So I would thank COVID for that one.
You guys have operated from different spots, but Skylar, after you guys won a national championship your freshman year of college, you guys still made a run. I think you guys made it back to the Final Four, correct?
Yeah.
And then for you, Eli, last year you guys were the national runner-ups, I believe, and then this year you guys ended up winning it. As a player, how do programs of that caliber, when they reach those heights, how do you kind of manage expectations and not get caught up in it? Because here's the thing, I remember, Skylar, when you were playing in the Mountain East, you were circled on everybody's schedule. Everybody was, Glenville State's coming to town, or, everyone measured themselves on how they performed against Glenville State. And Eli, I got to imagine it's very much the same thing at Nova, where it's, oh, like this is a program that's won national championships. They've competed for national championships. You're always a litmus test for somebody. So you're always going to get somebody's best shot, probably 34, 35 times a year. So as players, even though your roles change, how do you kind of manage that bullseye?
Um, I mean, it is funny. Every single game somebody comes and plays us, I would love to see the numbers that they shoot from three against us. It seems like nobody misses every single game, in and out. Everybody just plays so good against us. So, and we all know that. We all know we have a big old target on our back, and we just got to come in every day and play as hard as we can, because we know if we don't play good, we're going to lose. And we did that against PBA. We went in there, we a little slow off the first step. They came and punched us in the mouth, and we tried to make a way back, but they ended up getting us, and so we lost that game. And I think that just goes to show that you got to bring your A game every single game, because there is somebody coming out there to get you.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, we definitely got everybody's best game every time, and we actually lost in the MEC championship the year that we won the national tournament. It was the only game we had lost that season. And I'm pretty sure the team that beat us shot like 100% that game, but it was okay because we were upset, but we were like, you know what, we have something special, and we knew that we were going to get everyone's best shot. We prepared for it. Coach Kim's scouts were top notch at all times, and we were always really prepared for teams that we played against. But yeah, we were ready for everybody's best game. We knew what was coming. And I guess preparing for that in practice and being told that we were going to get everybody's best shot was really important. And just to keep in the back of our head, we were like, wow, we have to play great at all times. So.
Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and take our last break. And when we come back, we'll talk about really what it takes to be a national champion and what most people don't understand, and a couple other things that are going on in the sports world of West Virginia.
Some see sports as just a game, but it's more than that. It's about building dreams, embracing teamwork, and pushing limits. With every play, every cheer, we're there rooting as partners in their journey. Because at First Community Bank, we believe the youth of today shape our communities tomorrow.
Back from our ad break here, you're listening to the Play Sheet Sports Podcast. I'm joined by Skylar Davidson and Eli Allen. So I think people look at you as figureheads in your community, and they know that you're both special players. Obviously, you don't achieve the things that you have without that. But sometimes I think that there can be a misunderstanding of what it takes to be a national champion. Whenever, you're close to somebody, you're like, okay, like, I know this person, maybe I have an idea. What's kind of the misconception that you feel like most people don't understand about what it takes to reach that pinnacle? Because like I said, you guys are, in a very, very select group. We talk about 1% or, less than 1% of athletes going to the pro level, but less than 1% ever win a national championship or a state championship or anything like that. One thing, Eli, like I go to James and Rowe. I think the program had made one state tournament appearance before you got there. And then the optics change a ton whenever you're there. So for both you guys, what is it that you think is a misconception that people don't understand about what it takes to reach that pinnacle?
Go ahead, Skylar.
I feel like people just think like right place, right time, you know? And that's not what it all is about. Yeah, it is a blessing to be on the right team, but every kid on the team had a certain role that they had to know. And I think that it was important that we all knew what we were supposed to bring to the table each game. Each night we had a different scout, so we had to know our scout. You had to know your role, and I thought Coach Kim was really good at telling everyone what their role was, what she expected, and that she wanted them to be the best at their role. So, that's a huge part of it, and just always working hard. You have to work 10 times harder than everybody else. And I know that's always what people say, but like it really is the truth. You have to be the hardest worker at all times.
I think the big thing is sacrifice. There was many times where I wanted to go to the movies an hour away or whatever, and going out with my friends and stay out till 12, 1 o'clock at night, whatever. And I always knew, no, got lift at 6:30 in the morning. You got to get up and got to go to this. And so us athletes, I know everybody sacrifices a lot of things for the end goal, but it's all worth it in the end because we know what we want and we want to win. So it's all worth it.
You just knowing the types of players you are, I don't imagine that it was too much of an issue because you're both point guards. Obviously, in different senses, you can score when you want, but you're so good at setting up your teammates and getting them involved. What is the transition like from being a star player in high school to kind of moving into more of a role player role whenever you get to college? How do you guys adjust to that? Is it easy? Was it easier for you guys where you guys were pretty unselfish to begin with in your high school careers, starting with you, Sky?
It was an adjustment. Sometimes I was told that I was being too unselfish, but I had to find a way to get on the basketball court because there was no way I was going to go and sit on the bench. That's just how my brain works. Like, I just couldn't do it. So, and I knew that defense was my niche on that team. So I was going to go out there and be the best defender that I could be. If I didn't score a point, I didn't care. But as long as I was playing, I was a part of the wins was huge. Just finding a role and being the best that I could be at the role was a huge part of that.
I agree. Coming in to Nova, I was not sure exactly what to expect because, of course, younger guy, nobody really knows me. I committed late. Didn't Some of the guys got to come in, play open gyms, and they kind of knew each other, so I was coming in a little later. But this staff and this team, they all welcomed me very well. I came in here, had a great off season, was playing very well, and then right before the season even started, I hurt my ankle. Really first time I ever hurt my ankle. And so I was kind of finding my role coming in, but then kind of got hurt and took a step back, just they filled the spot and kept on rolling. So once I came back, it was a little bit of adjustment to try to find my role. But then definitely coming in this year, I knew my role was going to be increased. Just I wanted it to be increased. I knew I'd make it happen. So just staying consistent with it and really just playing and trusting that it's going to work out.
So I kind of want to ask you guys because you're elite players, so you've been very involved in it throughout your careers. So in West Virginia right now, there is a bill going through the legislature that would allow teams to practice on the travel side in season. So if you're playing for an AAU team, Skylar, I know you played for the Thunder, for example, you would be able to practice and I think play for the Thunder during the basketball season with Wyoming East. And I think that would cause a lot of commitment issues. And it goes for all sports. It would be for baseball and softball as well. And I know you have some personal experience with the injury that happened with Abby Russell and, kind of what your thoughts were on that. So just kind of knowing that, having been through that, what are your thoughts on kind of allowing athletes to do travel in season? Because basketball, I feel like, is just the hardest sport on the body whenever you're doing that. And then there are a lot of studies that discourage that. So I kind of wanted to, would you support something like that, like being able to do travel during the high school basketball season, starting with you, Eli?
Yes and no. I mean, there's good to both. I think there was definitely a few opportunities where a travel tournament popped up here and there where during season I could have went and played if it was legal, but of course I didn't. But maybe I would have wanted to, but I think it could go either way. It could be a good thing. Just getting more exposure, I guess, but also the main thing is playing as a team in West Virginia and getting to that end goal. And I really support that. And I love West Virginia myself. I always talk so highly on it. Everybody down here, they have no clue what it's like back in West Virginia, just the community and the people. So I enjoy how they do the high school season, but maybe a tournament here and there. I'm not sure. I'm not going to go too in depth, but that's my kind of opinion. Yes and no.
So I would say for girls, it's a little bit different. Um, I do think that females suffer from more injuries than men. I don't think that it would be the best idea to be traveling while in season just because that's a lot of stress on your body. And I also think it's important to commit to the team that you're with at the time. And it's also important to have a break from that team and be with other people and experience different things. So I always enjoyed my break from like high school basketball and getting a different type of feel, different type of style of play. So and then you come back to like a more family environment basketball team. But that's just my opinion on it, and it's different for females than it is for men because females are much more prone to injuries. So.
Yeah, I remember when you tore your ACL your freshman year, you had talked about how you learned like there are just different muscles you have to strengthen because they're not as supported in females. So yeah, that's a really good perspective. And I just figured as much travel as you guys had played and the purposes you use it for, you might have a good perspective on the wear and tear that it causes you guys. Another question I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite part of the national championship runs outside of like the basketball factor of it? Skylar, I remember whenever you were going through, I think the broadcast one day had said that you guys were excited to be staying across the road from a Target or something like that. What was something that both of you guys enjoyed during these runs that wasn't necessarily on the basketball side?
Just experiencing like different areas was awesome, especially for us at Glenville because like we were 45 minutes away from everything. I don't even know where the closest Target would have been, probably Morgantown, Bridgeport. So being able to travel and experience things, and then like we ate out at certain places during the tournament, and that was like just awesome. Like we all just got to eat together and just have a good time. So yeah, I would definitely say that just spending time with your team outside of basketball in a different area was really cool for us.
I would say I live in Fort Lauderdale, so I have access to pretty much anything. I we of course loved all the trips and stuff, but my favorite part was literally just hanging out with the guys. We would watch the tournament. We had this ballroom. We would throw it up on the screen, and all of us would just hang out and watch the games together. And I really enjoyed that part. Us as a team, we are very close. We've literally hung out as a whole team every day since the national championship. So we're very close, and so I just like the memories that we made together.
Now, if some kid that's 7 or 8 years old, I doubt they're that young, but if some kid is out there watching this podcast and they're wondering, how would I be the next Skylar Davidson or Eli Allen? Because like I said, it's rare to get one national champion, so to get two in the same coverage area is pretty incredible. But if some kid is out there watching them, what would be your advice to those kids that not necessarily following the same path, but to find success similar to what you guys have as team and as team players and individuals?
I would say dream big and work hard, man. I mean, I didn't think I would be in this point, national championship. I mean, that is crazy. So, but my dad did a very good job of just putting into my head that I was going to be a winner and just dream big and anything can happen if you work for it.
Uh, Definitely just always be confident in yourself. Find your niche and embrace it. Embrace your role at all times to be a part of something like that and enjoy the moments. You know, have a winning mindset at all times and positive attitudes because that's a huge part of it. But yeah, dream big, work as hard as you can.
I like that bit, Eli, because I know both your dads pretty well, so it's funny, and I know that they had a lot of hand in pushing you guys to where you were. You guys, you talked about those 21 games that you played as kids against them, and going down to local parks. Eli, I know Skylar, the same thing for you. A lot of people tell me that your dad was the fastest player they ever saw with the basketball. Eli, the first thing I ever heard about your dad was that he had the shortest punt return in college football history. So those guys are their characters all in their own right. But yeah, it seems to all have worked out pretty well for you guys. Well, I want to thank you guys both for joining me tonight. I know, 9 o'clock isn't late for college, but when you're an athlete, it's kind of like a full-time job. So you're soaking a little bit of it in. Eli, you're still soaking it up. Skylar, you're coming down to the final stretch here. Your basketball career has wrapped up, unless you decide that you want to do something professional, which I think that you decide you want to hang them up and try to move into the coaching realm a little bit. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight, and it's been a special experience. I've really enjoyed covering you guys throughout your career, so it's a lot of fun seeing you guys have the success that you have had.
Thank you, Tyler.
Appreciate you, Tyler. Thank you.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning into the Play Sheet Sports Podcast. We'll be back with you next week.